Hello everyone, this is H of the Husky here. I'm going to be casting a 1 versus 1 between our red Protoss player. His name is DarkForce, spawning over here on the center left side. His opponent is going to be DarkForce, spawning down here in the bottom center side. Now, I want to mention that this is going to be a best of 3 series. As you can tell, attention, DarkForce, well, ATN is the clan. For some reason, I always say it as attention. Anyways, DarkForce is spawning as yellow, which is not standard ladder colors, and DarkForce spawning as red over on the center left, which is standard. But regardless, this means it is going to be some sort of tournament game, I'm assuming, because it is a best of 3. I looked around a little bit and could not find where these replays were from, so if you do know where these are from, then please post it in the comments and thumbs it up so that we can get the right one on there and we can see where these replays are exactly from. Maybe if there's some money on the line or something like that, just to hype up the videos a tiny bit more. So of course it is a Protoss versus Zerg, and one last thing I want to mention, actually two things, is down in the bottom right side here, thank you to those who have made me some replay covers. Continue posting them on facebook.com/HuskyStarcraft. That is where I will see them, and I will find ones that I like. This one was awesome, and it actually had rainbows shooting out of my eyes. So if you guys want to make ones there and upload them, I may use them if they are decent and if they make me laugh or smile or I think they're really good. It's just kind of cool, kind of a good way for any artists out there to contribute to my channel to kind of spice it up a little bit. And the last thing I want to mention is I am going to be in the process of relocating out of my current apartment, so I am going to be busy. Unfortunately, today is the 8th. I do need to be moved out within a couple of weeks, and then I have a trip planned to go visit Oregon, just hang out with family, do some vlogs, and relax, get some Burgerville and stuff like that. So really, until the end of the month, my uploading rate may be dwindling just a little bit. So I do apologize. Don't think I died. Don't think I lost interest. It drives me crazy if a day goes by where I can't cast. When people post comments like, Husky, it's been 2 days. Where are more replays? I'm right there with you. I'm like, oh god, I really want to be casting StarCraft 2. But a lot of times I am busy with real life stuff. Oh, okay. DarkForce going for an expansion before anything else. That's simply because he did scout out here, feels confident in his ability to hold off any sort of Zergling pressure. And which is pretty interesting to me because on this map your choke is fairly wide open, and not only that, this version of Terminus does have destructible debris here down into the third base. This map used to be known for one choke being able to hold off 3 expansions, and my window is making so much noise with my curtains, so I'm gonna, not my curtains, but what are those things in California? Every apartment I've looked at has them, where you pull the little thing and it turns all the little plastic things sideways. I forget what kind of shade that's called, but they are so loud if you leave the window open and there's any sort of wind. I am back though, sitting back into my chair, and anyways, yeah, so the problem here for WhiteRa is going to be defending these destructible debris right here, because the Zergling's going to poke up here, maybe try and run around, and if they decide not to do that, they will begin immediately destroying the destructible debris. WhiteRa does need to put something down to block this off, does get something going down. It is a pylon, and Zerglings do die in 2 shots, so only 2 Zerglings going to make it in here, and will cancel down that pylon, and now he does have to deal with 2 Zerglings in his base, which means he is forced, droid, says my phone as I get a text message, he does need to put out a Zealot, regardless of the fact, even though he walled in, he will need to get that out just to deal with these 2. So frustrating, and that will give DarkForce the ability to scout around the main base, see exactly what's going on, and also that allows him to decide if he wants to do some sort of entrance bust or if he wants to go for an early third base himself. Sometimes you will see players expand, even around the 4 to 6 minute mark, as a Zerg player getting their third base, just because what is the Protoss going to do? Absolutely nothing. Look at this. It's a little 3D Zergling. You guys saw it there for half a second. These Zerglings still being annoying. I doubt they have any kills, though. This one does not, and the other one, I don't know if I selected the same one. I think it did. You little buggers are too fast for me to click on. Come here. Yes, got it. Oh, he does have 1 kill, so 1 probe did get sniped there, which is a fairly big deal, and also going to be chrono boosting out this Stalker, which will help him defend those destructible debris. Just need to make sure to have vision of the high ground in order to do that, so may prove to be slightly more difficult, especially if roaches get out on the field. And it looks like DarkForce is going for an early lair, and this is, again, the good thing about an early, fast-expanding Protoss versus a Zerg, is a Zerg can say, well, I can either tech up, I can go for a roach entrance bust, I can do all sorts of things, and really the Protoss has to be the one on the defensive end to try and deal with that. So we will see what WhiteRa decides to do after this. You can see he does have quite a few minerals, not as much gas as he would like at this point in the game. He does now have 3 probes on that gas, but he is sitting at around 400 minerals. Is he going to expand again It almost seems to me like he is setting up in a defensive position as far as expanding goes, as he does have 400 minerals. What are you doing with this money, WhiteRa? As you do not want to save this money in your bank account. There go more gateways. The timing does seem a little bit late just because he has been sitting on so much money. Not quite sure why he didn't throw those down earlier. And already, again, getting back up to 200 to 300 minerals. Right now, he is getting +1 attack as well as chrono boosting out the upgrades and just finally catching back up on his macro. I mean, you do get additional income as Protoss in this situation. I mean, you can see 40 probes to 34 drones. Rarely will you see a situation where a Protoss is ahead of Zerg in workers, especially if the Zerg isn't doing anything other than making workers. But we do have a Baneling nest on the way, and it does look like the answer to this walling in Terran is going to be some sort of Baneling bus at the entrance. So WhiteRa is going to do a 6 gate, which is pretty common here, and you can see him destroying his own rocks. I'm not sure if he's going to completely destroy these, most likely will. The Zergling is going to be scouting, though. Does see the upgrade as well as just the same gateway there, so there's no hidden tech right here. Or it wouldn't really be hidden, I guess, if it was right in the center of the base, or right in front of the base. But for now, it looks like DarkForce will be going for an early attack. We also are getting some Overlord upgrades. Is there going to be some sort of Overlord drop? Yes, here it comes right now. A bunch of Overlords are going to be flying over here to the location right here. I'm guessing he's going to be doing some sort of slow Baneling drop, because look at this, you can drop right into the main from right here. Is WhiteRa going to be ready or expect this at all? Keeping in mind that Banelings do additional damage versus sentries, so they die immediately if they do get hit by that, and the force fields do not go off correctly. However, WhiteRa does have all these warp gates now completed, but he is throwing down a 3rd base. He has not been able to scout his opponent at all. Here comes the drop right now. Overlord speed is done, as well as Banelings inside these Overlords, and the probes are going to have to transfer out of here. There is going to be a Baneling rain dropped on this. If WhiteRa is not careful, he's trying to scramble back to his main base, maybe forced to cancel that Nexus just to warp in enough units to save this. Looks as if the Nexus will go down, though, as well as potential warp gates as well. And one Baneling does die, but the remainder are going to stay inside those Overlords. They could easily rain down upon the Protoss army. There goes the Nexus. Even though WhiteRa has expanded, he definitely wants to keep those alive. We need to see some force fields here. I don't know if it's going to be enough, though, because the Overlords, they have the Banelings inside. The force fields is making a nice little bowl of cereal of Protoss units to drop those Banelings inside. So much damage being dealt with those Banelings. I mean, yes, WhiteRa is able to hold on here, but looking at the units lost tab, he is the big loser in that battle, also losing his Nexus. And on top of that, the problem is that Banelings cost money too, so the only resources really lost have been Banelings and a couple of Zerglings, which Zerglings are fairly cheap, while WhiteRa has lost much more gas and things like that. I don't believe he has any sentries left. Yep, he lost every single sentry there, and this is where the Zerg is just going to have full map control. Look at them roaming around with all these Zerglings scouting around, continuing to harass here with Zerglings killing a couple of Stalkers, make it one last one. No, he's not going to, but he did soften those quite a bit. And now WhiteRa has all these probes and nothing to do with them. 50 probes versus 35, and he will have to remake that main base. It looks like he could take this rich Vespene. Oh, no, it's not rich anymore. Just the normal Vespene geyser right here, and there is only 5 mineral patches here, so this expansion is not ideal for securing. Zerglings will just do a run-by. Could go into the main, does attack the Zealots. That's probably the worst choice in that situation, when really he could just run into the main, try to do some damage. But right now, it is going to be 40 workers to 52, so if WhiteRa can keep holding on, he may be in okay shape, may be able to come back, especially since DarkForce has just now expanded at around the 11-minute mark, so that expansion is delayed by about a minute, and also way delayed compared to what he could be doing if he went a super heavy macro mode. So now it is going to be up to WhiteRa to get the right units, get the expansion of the main back up and going, which is so weird to say expand into your main, but that's essentially what it is this is kind of the new main mining base right now. He does have Void Rays on the way, which is a phenomenal choice, but don't count out DarkForce quite yet, because even though roaches cannot attack air, they are very robust, and you can run in there and do a lot of damage, even though the Void Ray will be sitting up there fully charged, zapping away that one armor that the roaches spawn with, making them much more powerful versus things like the Zealots and the Void Rays, if you can micro the roaches correctly. We do have a robotics on the way, and WhiteRa apparently did not lose this warp gate, so that will allow him to warp in additional units, which will help him out, although DarkForce making a smart choice here in that he is going for a Hydralisk Den. I swear there's a Hydralisk Den somewhere. I don't know where it's being, they're morphed in. There it is, right there. And Hydralisk are very good against Void Rays and basically all gateway units. If there's no blink going on and force fields aren't great, Hydralisk will just machine gun down the gateway unit. So that is a really smart choice from DarkForce, especially since he's continued to be aggressive here. I mean, you can see just how many roaches he's made instead of just making drones that entire time. So if you look at the units tab, 64 probes for WhiteRa. We do have a robotics bay on the way for WhiteRa, so he does need to make sure to get out those Colossus. You can see him putting probes inside that gas, transferring over some probes right now, 3 of them splitting off to go into that gas right away, and he also does have this gas as well. So he has more gas income than the Zerg right now if he can get all the workers inside the gas, which apparently Corona boosting out something here. Was it an observer? Yes, it was. And so we should see some Colossus tech, but the Hydralisk attack may come before Colossus tech is done. One Void Ray poking over here, able to take 5 kills. I did miss that, but 5 drones just killed right at that expansion, which is not too shabby at all. He definitely wants to keep that drone count low, considering that the Zerg player is already behind in the drones. And is WhiteRa continuing to make Void Rays? That's very interesting to me that WhiteRa is not continuing to make Void Rays. Right as I say that, of course, WhiteRa is like, Husky, I want to make you look terrible, so I'm going to continue making Void Rays. But as long as he knows about these Hydralisks, then he will not make too many Void Rays, just because Hydras, again, can machine gun them down. We should see additional Hydras on the way from our Zerg player. Maybe doing a timing window where his +1/+1 finishes, and the Hydra tech is too powerful for WhiteRa. But look at the supply counts. 131 for WhiteRa, and only 106 for his opponent. And a lot of that comes down to his WhiteRa was able to hold on to all 3 bases this entire time. And since DarkForce was so aggressive, does snipe 1 Void Ray though, and the Observer, so nice little victory there for DarkForce. But I mean, WhiteRa was able to hold on to all these despite the early Baneling drop and the probe harass and all that, losing the Nexus. He was able to just re-expand and continue macroing from there. So that is pretty good, and DarkForce has been playing an extremely upgrade style of play as well as a lot of units. So that's why he is behind in supply now, as he really kind of punished himself for not being able to do as much damage. We do have 1 Void Ray. Is this Void Ray patrolling back and forth? Yes, it is. Don't know if it's going to intercept this Overlord. Looks like it will. I think the roaches can get out of this Overlord though before the Void Ray is able to kill it. There is another drop over here getting intercepted by Void Rays as well. WhiteRa really on top of his Void Rays. Only 1 roach gets out and is now loose inside the main base, but he has to go up against a Void Ray, which is still in range of that cannon, because cannons do detect further than they can shoot, and it looks like the roach will die. Yes, unburrows just to dramatically die. He must be an art major or a theater major or something like that, as he was showing off his acting skills there. Now, the other Void Ray, I believe, killed that Overlord as well, so this one is trying to make it up here with roach drops. But I mean, looking at the units lost tab, look at how much these drops cost him for absolutely no damage. And looks like he will be able to drop the mineral line right here, maybe do some damage to some probes, which is really what he needs to do, considering that WhiteRa is now taking his 4th base. Void Ray zooming on up here to deal with this, as well as warping in a couple units. These roaches can burrow if they decide to, which they do. And we'll see if he decides to move those around to start killing some probes. WhiteRa says, okay, roaches, well, you only have a matter of time, as these cannons are now warping in and will focus down. It looks like a couple of units. Look at the HP regenerating here for these roaches. Zooming on up in that HP, just trying to harass as much as possible, buying as much time as he can, as he is securing his own 4th base, but the timing of it will put him behind the Protoss. And when you leave a Protoss unchecked for this long, WhiteRa is going to punish you for it. And running over here with these roaches, trying to snipe the probes on gas. Nice little micro there. I feel like that was a computer playing for a second, putting that probe off of gas and putting a new one on there. Or was he mining anyways? I don't know. Either way, total baller play from WhiteRa as usual, and he's just buying as much time as he can with these roaches. WhiteRa is not committing all of his units back there to defend it. Our Zerg player is now getting closer to max out, but the problem is that DarkForce is stuck on Roach Hydra, which is not good against Zealot, Stalker, Sentry, Colossus. I think there may have even been an Immortal in there somewhere. Yes, there is. So WhiteRa heavily favored here in these upcoming battles. He does have that +2 attack, so expect to see completely out of control splash damage unless DarkForce can somehow pull this off. I just don't see it happening, especially with cannons here to assist, which do additional damage versus those roaches. DarkForce just running straight into the brick wall. This virtually never works against Protoss. Roach is burrowing there for a second. However, the Observer was here to spot it. Can DarkForce pull this off? He does have 1/1, while WhiteRa has that +2 attack. So again, that splash damage is going to eat through that army. 177 supply to 136. There is going to be the GG out of this game, and really what it came down to is DarkForce tried to be extremely aggressive. I don't know how WhiteRa was able to hold on there. I think a lot of Protoss players would have crumbled there, but insane micro and the ability to bring his probes back without losing very many at all. I mean, he brought those probes back before he was alerted to the fact that his probes were under attack. So he brought those down, was able to save them, and even though he lost the Nexus, he had so many probes that as soon as that Nexus was up, he was back at full capacity. I mean, losing 400 resources on a building is never a comfortable situation for anyone unless your name is WhiteRa, and of course also known as DuckloadRa, that is his sponsor. But I mean, securing the 4th base right here, he was going to be remaxed out soon. Probably would have even added on more gateways, potential for more robotics as well, and he was just a macro machine from there on out. He would have pushed out across the map, even mixing in some Void Rays into this army. And DarkForce, he didn't have anything to kill the Colossus, so you can see this Colossus has 5 kills, 9 kills, and 5 kills, most of those roaches and hydras. And when you don't have any corruptors on the field to deal with that, you are in a lot of trouble. He did have 14 roaches on the way, but at this point, what are you going to do to stop it? You really don't have the tech. You don't have any fungal growths. You don't have any ultralisks in that situation to deal with the ground army of the Protoss, and that just shows you that higher tech units in Protoss versus Zerg are required by the Zerg, also required by the Protoss in the mid-late game as well. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. There is going to be more games of these two players duking it out, so we're going to go ahead and go on to game number 2, and I'll see you guys next time.